Okay, so imagine you're 21 years old and you get a visit from your 36-year-old self telling you exactly what you need to do. In this video, I'm going to go over the 6 exact steps I would take if I had to start over from the beginning. Look, so the first thing I would do is prioritize investing. And I know it sounds basic, but hear me out. When it comes to how you invest, long-term and investing regularly and often is what works best. But if you start at the beginning, you need to make sure you start as high as you can. And when I reflect back on my past, I wish I had negotiated higher pay. So when I first started working, I was desperate. I mean, the first offer I got, I said yes. And I wish I negotiated a little bit better. Even if it meant, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 more, that $33,000 I was getting on that first job would have made a bigger impact to how I would have invested. Because when I first started working, my main form of investing was my 401k. And my boss told me just put as much as you can. So what did I do? I put 15% on that application for 401k deferrals. So that meant 15% of my pay was going directly to my retirement. And after that first check, it was too much. I couldn't do that. I mean, I had to bump it down from 15% to 10%. And then after that, I bumped it down to 7% because it still felt like a lot. And granted, I wasn't making that much, but if I had an extra 1 or 2% in overall pay, my gross pay, maybe I wouldn't have dropped it down so low. Because the main issue here is that when I dropped it down to 7%, I left it there for about 3 years. Even through all the promotions and the bonuses and the pay increases, I still left it at 7%. And it was one of those things where I just kind of was on autopilot. I just really wasn't looking at it from that perspective. So if I had prioritized investing from the beginning, I would have looked for a little bit of a higher pay, and that possibly would have kept me at a higher contribution amount. Because in reality, if you're not contributing 12% or more towards retirement, you are going to have to find a way to fill that gap because you may not be saving at a high enough rate. Look, so just to keep it straight with you, the difference between 1 or 2% may seem small in the beginning, but it has a big effect when we talk about compounding all the way down the road when it comes to investing. And before I give you the next few steps, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on these critical tips. Okay, so the next best thing I would do is network. Networking is critical. I know you've heard that cliche where people say your network is your net worth, and they're actually right. Think about it from this perspective. The best way to learn information efficiently is to tap into people who are experts and know those specific fields. I know there was a time where I tried to pivot in my career and I was applying to job after job after job, and it was very inefficient because I was applying to nearly 300 jobs. And when I actually started to tap into my network, I realized, oh, if you don't have a certification in this, there's no point in submitting an application. Or if you don't have this clearance, there's no reason you should even look at this application. Your network can help you avoid the mistakes that you don't need to make. There are people that are experts all around you, but you just need to know them. And it could be something as simple as making sure they become an acquaintance, or you meet them at a function or a happy hour or a networking event, and you follow up every now and then. Learning information quicker is what helps you build wealth and grow quicker. You see, when you have a network that is flourishing, you have people that you can pull information from, and they can help you find some inefficiencies. So for example, for me, I know that I needed specific people around me that were in different industries to give me some insight, because when you're trying to pivot or increase your wealth, you need to know some key information. So you need to tap into those people who are already there so that you can avoid some of those mistakes. And I had certain people that said, hey, well, you don't want to do that, or based off of what you're interested in, this wouldn't be a good fit for you. And then on the flip side, there were people at other organizations that I knew, and they told me actively saying that you could easily do this job. This is something that would be a good fit. And when it comes to things like referrals, your network is going to help you get that. You know, I was referred to so many different positions at a specific point in my life, and it was because of my network. That's how I was able to do that. I've actually also been on the side of hiring someone, and what you tend to find is that when you look at internal processes, especially with hiring and company culture, referrals they're held in high regard. So according to Career Builder, 82% of employers say that employee referrals have the best ROI when it comes to just building the workforce within that company. So it's very common for a referral to make it to the top of a pile of candidates. So if you're in your early 20s, you need to tap into those referrals because it will save you a lot of time and it can help you most likely negotiate higher. And then it's especially going to help you for this next step. And that brings us to step 3. You see, moving from job to job every 2 or 3 years is actually one of the best ways to go. So I would definitely recommend that step. Think of it from this perspective. Companies go through realignments, they go through mergers and acquisitions, they sometimes go through expansions and contractions. So they may expand and hire a lot of people, or they may let people go. And what better way to be nimble or ready for these type of situations than to be someone who's already comfortable moving every couple of years already. You see, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, some of these companies, they have to do what they have to do, and so do you. But if you tap into your network, you know, our previous step, you will be more than ready to move from organization to organization. And I've always been told the best time to leave an organization is when you're in good standing. And for that reason, if you needed to come back, let's say you really you had a change of heart and you want to come back to the company you just left, if you left on good terms, they more than likely would be willing to renegotiate some type of deal. And a little inside secret, they actually are okay hiring or rehiring people who used to work there because it shows other employees that, hey, the culture is worth coming back to. So it kind of works in both ways. So moving every couple of years, even if you're not ready, can still work in your favor. And in addition, you will likely earn 10 to 20% more in pay when you move from job to job. Okay, so at this point we have 3 steps left. And obviously if you increase how you earn, you can always increase how you invest. So this is why the next step is increase your skill set. You're talking to somebody who's attained 9 certificates and licenses throughout his career and counting, because I'll definitely be working on some more in the future. It's simply the idea that if you continue to grow, then you continue to move in a better direction. That's as simple as it gets. I always feel like if you're not growing, you're dying, and technically we're all dying. But at the end of the day, you need to sow into your career through different certifications, growing your knowledge. It could be a license or certification, but these things increase your value and help you become more of a subject matter expert in your field. So whether you're paying for it out of your pocket or the company's paying for it, it is generally going to be worth it for you to do these measures in order to command a little bit more. And of course, the more you make, the more you can invest. Look, I know that certifications and exams can be hard, and trust me, I have had my share of failures. It was not very smooth. And in fact, I've done a few videos talking about some of this. So feel free to check some of those out. But at the same time too, there is a high ROI on these. I also knew for me, at a certain point, it was more efficient for me to get certifications and licenses than it was for me to go back and get another degree, because I didn't want to accrue more debt, and certifications don't generally cost as much as another degree. So trust me, it will pay off. Now, I know that step was a little bit interesting, but this next one takes it a step further. And That's to stay away from negative or complacent people. So now, when it comes to the workplace, these people also affect your ability to invest, because sometimes you're just simply guilty by association. There are some people in the workplace that aren't really going to help you get anywhere. And this doesn't mean you need to always strategize every single thing, but you have to be aware of when there are negative environments and how that affects your ability to grow. There are some people that they won't participate in company functions. They will encourage you or discourage you to be part of things that will grow your specific expertise. Some people that don't want to do trainings or don't want to attend specific meetings or want to take longer than average lunch hours and things like that. Well, sometimes people see these type of things, and when you become guilty by association, that affects your network, and obviously, as we mentioned before, your network does affect your net worth. There's something to be said about a positive work environment and a negative work environment. And maintaining a positive attitude in any type of work environment has a direct parallel to how you would manage when it comes to the investment world, because there are going to be ups and downs. And if you are able to maintain a positive outlook, odds are you're going to be able to manage anything that comes your way. And whether that's drama in the workplace or a difficult project or an employee you don't feel like you can get along with, but you would find, being a positive person, you'd find a way to make this situation work. And if you follow one of the previous steps and move every couple of years, these type of things will roll right off of you because you have a better plan and a better objective. And this very last step, it is the gift that keeps on giving. Create your own bills. It sounds a little odd, but you have the power to do that. There are specific things that you could afford to do, but if you plan and make that a priority. So if you know that investing is something you want to do, you want to buy individual stocks, or you want to buy cryptocurrencies, or you want to go out to eat once a week, or you want to go out on trips or go skiing, or you want to go to fun places and go take trips, whatever it is, you need to create that bill and prioritize that, because there's enough regular bills going around, but the bills that you want to pay, that's what you need to craft in your framework. So whatever it is, you need to make sure you're intentional about it. In other words, you are essentially budgeting the lifestyle that you want to create. So if you know that investing is going to be part of that, then let's make sure we do that and create that specific bill. Once that bill is paid, go have fun doing other things. But you can create these scenarios. Don't let it be an accident that these things are happening. Be intentional. I know for me, I came from a background where I was very cheap about a lot of things. And that meant sometimes I just saved a lot. And saving a lot doesn't mean that there's intention in your spending. So I want to make that clear distinction that hoarding and saving cash does not help propel you into things, but being intentional with your dollars does. So there you have it. These are the 6 steps I would take if I had to start over completely from scratch. If you want to get more invested and understand basic investing, I want you to watch this video right here.